What's up, everyone? Michelle Alexandria coming at you with a review of Damson's S-Series Dolby Atmos home theater setup. What separates this Atmos setup from the rest is the fact that it is one of the world's smallest Dolby Atmos setups you can actually possibly buy. It includes a power subwoofer, a center channel speaker, and two wireless surround sound satellite speakers that are fully wireless. Includes rechargeable. Each satellite speaker includes a wireless rechargeable battery that lasts up to 8 hours each, and they sound really nice. Now check this out. What you're looking at here is actually the power subwoofer. Look how small that subwoofer is. It's really nice. It's compact, and it packs quite a punch. On the back of this subwoofer, there are two HDMI inputs that support 4K HDR pass-through. There's an HDMI out port for audio ARC support, and the worst part about this thing is there's no optical there's no optical out feature, so that's really disappointing. Now the issue with this setup is when I had there are no LED lights to tell you when something's actually playing in Dolby Atmos or how to actually properly switch between different audio options. And this thing supports full Dolby Atmos in every Dolby audio codec, including DTSX, and it's a full 5.1 surround sound system, so that's really nice. But not having LED lights was driving me nuts because I could never really quite tell when something was playing in Dolby Atmos. I actually had to go online and download the manual because it doesn't really come with a manual. You got to go online and download it, and I found out that Dolby Atmos is actually playing when that little light is blinking. But would it have been so hard to actually add a Dolby regular LED lights? I wonder if you can hear the rain. It's pouring down rain here in Florida. So over here is actually the center channel speaker. So take a look at how small that center channel speaker is. I actually have to zoom out for you to see it, but see how small that center channel speaker is? It's this one. Look at my finger. It's right here. And one day I need to get my nails done. I miss DC because I don't have all my normal beauty people to keep me beautiful. But anyway, so it's right here. And it comes in two parts that actually snap together to form one. I don't know why it's done like that. Because it isn't like you could play one part without playing the other part. So the fact that you got to snap it together feels really weird. On the right-hand side, right here, there are some actual physical buttons that are recessed and black, so you actually can't even see them unless you shine a light on it. So again, that's kind of like just a weird design choice on this setup. That why aren't the physical buttons actually in your face in terms of actually being able to see what you're doing? You really have to literally shine a light on it. But there's a fast forward, rewind, play button on it. Also a mode button where you can select your different speaker modes, and there's a Bluetooth mode on it. The remote control, which is right here, the remote control, it actually is focusing now. So there's actually an HDMI 1 button, HDMI 2 button. There's a button in the middle for S-Bass, which activates your bass functionality. There's a BT button, which is for your Bluetooth mode, the second Bluetooth. There's an auxiliary mode, and then there's an ARC mode that you press when you want to play stuff through your ARC. And then there's a volume up, volume down button, and then there's another Bluetooth pairing button and a previous and next button on the remote. So it's a full service remote. It feels really nice in your hand, and I really love that about this setup. But again, the problem with this setup is the lack of LED indicator lights that really tell you what you want, that give you some basic information about what's playing, and it makes switching channels, audio signals really difficult. I actually had my Sony 4K UHD hooked up to the HDMI ARC button, and it literally took like 10 5 minutes for me to figure out how to actually get the system to turn on and recognize the HDMI out button. It's not really fast or intuitive at all in terms of how it operates. And you would think all I would need to do is hit the HDMI 1 button and it would automatically switch to ARC, but it didn't always do that right away. And that drove me a little nuts. Also, when I tried to play my TiVo system, I had a lot of audio sync issues with it, where basically if you play stuff and let it play normally, it works and syncs perfectly fine. But if you fast forward over a commercial, then it would be completely out of sync. The picture and the audio would be completely out of sync, and then it would take me about a minute to try to get it to go back into sync. A minute of playing around with it to get it to go back into sync. So that was driving me a little bit batty. And the Apple TV was actually also out of sync, so I had to switch to Apple TV to stereo mode in order to get it to work on a consistent basis. But I'm not blaming that on this setup, because the Apple TV has had audio issues for like the last 5 months now, and I'm getting a little tired of it. But you just got to deal with certain things in life, I suppose. The biggest issue I have with this setup is the price. It's $800, and at $800, I'm just not completely convinced it's worthwhile. It sounds amazing. It really does. When everything is working and clicking and working fantastic, it sounds outstanding. You really do hear like the Atmos. You hear it coming from the left or right channels. I was watching The Matrix on 4K UHD a few weeks ago, and it sounded amazing. I was watching Power Rangers that also had a great Dolby Atmos track. But the problem is a lot of these 4K discs and audio tracks, like 4K picture itself, you have to have the perfect audio track to really take full advantage of a setup like this, and it's $800. So, plus the cost of the speaker stands. So I actually paid $870 for this setup, and I'm not convinced it's worth that kind of money. If it was $500, I would say run out and get this thing. Don't even think about it. But the lack of a decent LED readouts and the kind of flakiness of the HDMI input functionality kind of gives me a little pause. But I'm going to play you a sample of the kind of quality this thing actually puts out in just a second, and I'm going to run some more videos, and then right after this, where you can hear some clips. But while you're listening, I don't know if the audio is actually going to come through on this, so hopefully it will. But when you're listening, keep in mind all that audio is coming from here. It's coming from, let me just zoom in right here. It's coming from this really tiny speaker and this really tiny audio set. This really tiny center speaker channel. So let's play.
You are about to experience a revolution in entertainment technology. The fusion of Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos transforms your TV into an entertainment powerhouse. Dolby Vision is cinema HDR that brings TV to life with dramatic imaging, astonishing brightness, color, contrast.
I hope this doesn't get
Dolby
flat.
Atmos puts you inside the action with bigger, more encompassing sound that fills your room, even overhead.
Now you can tell that Dolby Atmos is playing because the blue light is flashing.
Dolby Atmos.
The blue light right here is flashing. And that's all I dare play. I'm sure I'm automatically going to get a flag for this, but I just wanted to give you a little sample of what the audio quality is going to be like if you buy this setup. So, would I buy this? The question is, I don't know. I have until tomorrow to pack this thing up and ship it back to Amazon. And honestly, the money's already spent, so I may end up keeping this because it does sound really nice, and it does fit everything I want in a soundbar system. But my LG Flex sounds, I won't say sounds just as good, but it sounds pretty darn good without spending another $900 on a soundbar setup. So yeah, my only complaint is I wish this thing was $500, and I wish it had some LED lights so I could actually tell what the heck I'm doing. But other than that, on paper and in terms of execution, 85% of this thing is absolutely brilliant. So anyway, talk to you guys later. I wish I knew how to do end cards because I'm going to do some gaming videos for you guys so you can actually see how good the sound is, and I'm going to actually do some more demos of this Dolby Atmos for you guys. So catch those videos right after this one. Talk to you guys later. Bye.